The KCBD Investigates team has video evidence surrounding the murder of a Texas Tech police officer. This is footage that never left the courtroom until now. KCBD News Channel 11's investigative reporter Shaley has covered this case for 6 years and joins us now with something the public has never seen and why it took so long to release the videos. Shaley.
Karen, shortly after Floyd East Jr.'s murder in October 2017, the court issued a news media gag order. It prevented those directly involved in the case from releasing any information like reports, body camera videos, and dash camera videos. When the trial started earlier this year, we were not allowed to record anything inside the courtroom. Now that the trial is over, we have the video evidence presented to the jury that better explains how this tragedy happened. And while we are not going to show the shooting itself, this video may still be difficult to watch.
Tech 635. Tech 635. Tech 635. Unit 635, Officer Floyd East Jr., badge number 635. End of watch, October 9th, 2017. Thank you for your service. Godspeed.
For years, we've known how this story ends.
Got an officer down. He shot in our briefing room. We don't know where the suspect went.
Now we have the missing pages.
The PD is not secure.
Roughly 19 hours before that deadly shooting, around 1 a.m. on October 9th, 2017.
What's going on, man?
We see Hollis Daniels III on body camera video for the first time.
You got any weapons like that on you, man?
No.
You care if I pat you down real quick?
Yeah.
The Lubbock police officer testified he stopped Daniels because he'd been accused of stealing his friend's gun earlier that night. The officer doesn't find a weapon. Then another officer arrives.
Here, if we search your vehicle?
Yes, sir. I can't believe it.
Thanks, sir. Oh, you don't want us to search your vehicle?
Yeah, but not because I don't have a gun. I just don't. I don't have consent to that. It's not necessary. I'm on the way home.
No, it is necessary because right now you're involved in an investigation.
The officers never search his vehicle.
I'm gonna cut you loose, man.
And eventually, Daniels is allowed to leave.
You can carry on with your night, man. Be home safe, buddy.
So why didn't officers get a warrant to search his vehicle? It's a question then Lubbock Police Chief Greg Stevens addressed days later in a news conference.
There was not enough probable cause to search it on its own, nor to get a warrant for the vehicle. They thought there might be perhaps even drugs in the vehicle. They looked into whether or not a drug dog was available to come and sniff the vehicle, and there was not one available.
In the trial, Daniels told the jury the stolen gun was sitting in his vehicle the whole time. Daniels testified that after this stop, he returned to his dorm room at Talkington Hall, where he unintentionally fired the gun. His roommates reported hearing the gunshot to University Police.
Texas Tech Police Department.
This is body camera video of the welfare check Texas Tech police officers conducted. Officer Floyd East Jr. waits for an answer, but no one comes to the door. Officers check his room and find a bullet hole in his wall, and this.
There's a pipe and another baggie, and there's more Xanax.
Daniel shows up, but pretends to be his roommate.
What's your name? Andreas. No, it's not.
Texas Tech police officer Tyler Snelson pats Daniels down and doesn't find any weapons. Officer East explains the reason behind the welfare check.
We got a report of a gunshot last night. And that's what we got a report of. So we came in here, make sure everyone's okay for a welfare check to make sure. So what happened last night?
There was no gunshot.
While Daniels denies firing a gun, he does admit the pills and drug paraphernalia officers found in his room are his.
Am I under arrest, sir?
Officer East handcuffs Daniels, pats him down, and walks him to his patrol vehicle. This is dash camera video of that short ride from Talkington Hall to the Texas Tech Police Department.
I'll be transferring 1-1 mail. If you're trying to ditch anything or get rid of anything, I'm going to check it back there before we take you, so.
Oh, yeah, no, you're good.
What was that big thump?
Oh, my handcuffs.
Officer East walks Daniels into the department and eventually uncuffs him. Officer Snelson testified it's not uncommon for officers to remove the handcuffs if the subject is cooperative. Officer East and Daniels are left alone in the briefing room as Officer East completes booking paperwork. Daniels asks Officer East 3 questions before he pulls out a gun and fires that deadly shot.
You have a family at home? You? How many kids? Are you old?
A life taken in an instant by a student the officer had just met. Even after watching these body camera videos, it's still not obvious how Daniels cleared 2 pat-downs. In 2018, on the 1-year anniversary of Officer East's death, we sat down with Texas Tech Police Chief Kyle Boneth.
The number one question is, how did Hollis Daniels get that gun from the dorm room into the police department? And what's being done to make sure that that can't happen again?
Our officers conduct themselves in a professional manner. Everything that should have been done was done. This is a very unique situation that I think once trial comes will be made more clear. There's only one person that can tell you how that occurred with absolute certainty, and that's the suspect himself.
More than 5 years after the shooting, when Daniels took the stand, he answered that question. He took the jury back to this pat-down in his dorm room. He testified the stolen gun was in the front waistband of his pants. Daniels testified, quote, "My pants were sagging. He pulled my pants up and the gun slipped out of my waist." Daniels said with each pat, the gun fell farther down his pant leg. He said, quote, "It seemed like every time his hands hit, he barely missed it." Daniels also explained this.
I'll be transferring 1-1 male.
He testified that thud was the gun falling out of his pants. Handcuffed in the back of Officer East's patrol vehicle, Daniels managed to get to the gun and hide it in his pants again. Daniels sat uncuffed next to Officer East for a total of 28 minutes. We've fast-forwarded the video. Notice how often Daniels reaches for the bottom of his right pant leg, maneuvering the gun. At 7:40 p.m., we see the grip of the gun clearly for the first time. Daniels pulls the trigger 4 minutes later. After the shooting, Daniels ran. Texas Tech went into lockdown as law enforcement officers from multiple agencies descended on campus. Less than 2 hours later, they found Daniels and took him into custody. Since that day, university officials have made security changes to campus. We'll share some of those with you, along with an interview with Carmen East, Officer East's widow. She has a way you can honor her husband's memory while helping other officers. That's coming up tomorrow at 10 when we continue to investigate End of Watch. Karen.
This is an especially difficult week for the friends and family of fallen Texas Tech police officer Floyd East Jr. It was this time 6 years ago. They were making funeral arrangements for the officer who was killed in the line of duty, and his widow, Carmen, says the memories of that day are still fresh.
KCBD News Channel 11's investigative reporter Shaley shares her story for the first time. Shaley?
Childhood friends turned high school sweethearts. Carmen says she fell for Floyd's sense of humor and his green eyes.
You could not be in the room 5 minutes without you starting to laugh.
They lost touch after school, but as fate would have it, they later reconnected. Carmen had 2 daughters of her own. Floyd completed the family, and he could still make her laugh.
He was right there at every punchline.
If there was a costume in the vicinity, you could bet Floyd was going to find it and model it.
He would tell me, okay, now take a picture of me with this one. Now take a picture of me with this one.
So really it was like you had 3 children.
Yes, I had 3 children, and he drank a lot of milk. Oh my God, I should have bought a cow.
With his lifelong love by his side, Floyd decided to pursue his lifelong dream. In the summer of 2017, he joined the Texas Tech Police Department.
He was very excited. He loved the fact that he was law enforcement now and wore that badge with a lot of pride.
In October 2017, Carmen had traveled to Ireland for work. Her best friend was at home with her girls as Floyd completed his shift.
And she called me at 4 in the morning and she said, "Have you heard from Floyd?" And I go, "No, I haven't. I heard from him before I went to sleep. We said goodnight and that we love each other, and that was it." And then she goes, "Well, babe, something has happened at Texas Tech, and there's a police officer that's down." And I said, well, look, no news is good news. But as soon as I said no news is good news, the phone in my room rings.
It was the chief of police.
And he said, Officer Floyd East Jr. has passed away. And then I stayed quiet and I said, is he okay? And then he said, Carmen, Officer Floyd East Jr. has passed away.
Carmen was 3 hours from the nearest airport and more than 4,700 miles away from home. It would take 16 hours and 3 flights before she could hug her girls, a trip that seemed like an eternity.
Those seats had TVs on them, and it was CNN, I'll never forget it, and showing everything that was happening in Lubbock. One of the stewardess said, I am so sorry, I don't mean to pry, but are you okay? I couldn't even speak, and I was just pointing to the TV. And I was saying, and all that came out was my husband.
Finally, Carmen made it home.
All 3 of us fell to the floor there in front of the door. And I told them, we're going to be okay. We're going to be just fine.
As she covered her children in love, the law enforcement community covered her.
I didn't expect that we were going to get all this help from the Thin Blue Line. So we were able to pay our electricity bill, the mortgage, and everything because of their help. And that's when I said, I have to give that help as well.
That's when Texas 635 was born. Carmen's foundation provides financial and emotional support for law enforcement families whose loved one has been killed in the line of duty. A mission that expanded as she visited police departments.
A lot of officers were coming to us personally, secretively, to tell us that officer over there is not doing very well.
Now Texas 635 offers retreats for law enforcement officers, a place where they're surrounded by other officers who can relate. Therapists and counselors are also available.
If I wasn't doing this, I don't think I would be doing very well.
A sense of purpose that has started to replace the resentment.
If I would continue to have that anger, the only person that's going to be affected is myself. And for the work that I do, that anger, I can't have it. So I have to have peace in my own heart. And that's what I teach my daughters as well. And that's what we teach to everybody that comes to our program. And that's where we stand.
A foundation that protects and serves the officers who have taken an oath to do the same. Carmen says the next retreat will be in Ruidoso, New Mexico on October 19th. She asked for monetary donations so she can prepare meals for those officers. If you would like to help, we're going to have a link on our website. Karen and Emmer.
East was shot and killed by a student inside the Texas Tech Police Department. The student ran from the scene but was located and arrested within hours.
The shooting prompted university officials to make security changes. Let's go back to Shaley now for a look at the investments those officials have called for over the last 6 years. Shaley.
Karen and Abner, we're told the Texas Tech Police Department has new interview rooms and added perimeter fencing. There's now a substation in the Student Union building and more exterior cameras across campus. The university has also launched the Raider Safety Campaign, which provides a single point of access for campus safety-related resources. We'll have a link to all of that information in this story again on our website, kcbd.com.